1:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madhavala and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The President says people in the country will be empowered by providing them with the rights of education, land, housing and businesses. Another 182,140 families have been selected for the Aswasuma Social Welfare Program. Special transport arrangements have been made for the people who travel for their native villages for the upcoming festive season. Government urges public caution to reduce road accidents and firework incidents during the New Year season. All postal workers have agreed to work on next Friday to handle the significant volume of goods received by the Central Postal Exchange. Foreign news: South Korea votes for new parliament. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that he will make the people in this country a part of a strong economy by providing them with the rights of their education, land, housing and businesses. He stressed that the country will be able to build a strong and steady economy by making the people a part of this development. The President made these comments while participating in the ceremony to vest with the public the Randeniya Uyana housing complex in Modra yesterday. Randeniya Uyana housing scheme was constructed to provide houses for the people affected by the Kajimawata fire in the year 2010. The Randeniya Uyana housing scheme consisting of 294 housing units in Modra area. State Minister for Finance Shahan Semasinghe says that after considering appeals and objections, another 182,140 families have been selected for the Aswasima Social Welfare Program. Their payments and the arrears will be paid by the 18th of this month. He said that the total number of Aswasima beneficiaries is 1,854,400. The State Minister said that the government spends more than 58.5 billion rupees in this regard. State Minister for Finance Shahan Semasinghe also announced that all necessary arrangements have been made to extend benefits to another 2.4 million family units under the second phase of the Aswasima program starting from June 2024. He reiterated that applications for the second phase will close on the 15th of March 2024 and individuals failing to submit their applications by the given deadline will forfeit eligibility for benefits associated with the program. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that special transport arrangements have been made for the people who travel for their native villages for the upcoming festive season. Special joint transport plan has been implemented in this regard. It's jointly being implemented with state and private transport services under the supervision of National Transport Commission. The minister made these remarks at a press briefing held at the Government Information Department today. The government is urging the public to exercise caution and minimize road accidents and firework-related incidents during the upcoming Sinhala and Tamil New Year season. Reports indicate that a significant portion of accidents during this festive period, approximately 36%, are attributed to the use of fireworks, along with 17% of eye injuries reported during this time are due to the use of firecrackers and fireworks. In response to these concerns, the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Health have collaborated on a special program aimed at raising awareness and reducing accidents of road and firework-related injuries during the festive season. Meanwhile, a special press conference was convened yesterday at the Presidential Media Centre by the Ministry of Transport and the National Council on Road Safety. The purpose of this media briefing was to inform the public about measures being taken to mitigate road accidents during the festive period. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
At People's Bank, we empower your pride. People's Bank, pride of the nation.
State Minister for Mass Media Shantha Bandara announced that despite April 12 being a public holiday, all postal workers have agreed to work on that day to handle the significant volume of goods received by the Central Postal Exchange during the New Year season. For the first time in its history, he noted that this decision was made to accommodate the surge in demand for postal services during this festive period. The State Minister highlighted the shift in consumer behavior, noting that individuals who previously experienced long queues for fuel are now gathering to purchase apparel and other goods. He attributed this change to the success of the nation-building program initiated by the President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Cabinet spokesman and Mass Media Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that Cabinet approval has been granted to increase the security deposits that should be placed by a candidate contesting for the presidential, parliamentary or provincial council elections. Speaking at the weekly Cabinet media conference held yesterday at the Government Information Department, Minister Gunawardena said that decision to revise the election security deposits has been taken after considering the present social, political and economic situation in the country. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the combined proposal presented by the President together with Justice Minister Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa as per the provisions of the Presidential Elections Act, the Parliamentary Elections Act and the Provincial Council Elections Act. Accordingly, the deposit of a candidate from a recognized political party will be increased to 2.6 million rupees and an independent candidate to 3.1 million rupees according to the Presidential Elections Act number 15 of 1981. And that ends local news for now.
Right decisions with noble intentions bring pride to you and the nation. At People's Bank, we empower your pride. People's Bank, pride of the nation.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
The government is urging the public to exercise caution and minimize road accidents and firework-related incidents during the upcoming Sinhala and Tamil New Year season. Reports indicate that a significant portion of accidents during this festive period, approximately 36%, are attributed to the use of fireworks, along with 17% of eye injuries reported during this time are due to the use of firecrackers and fireworks. In response to these concerns, the Ministry of Transport and Ministry of Health have collaborated on a special program aimed at raising awareness and reducing accidents and firework-related injuries during the festive season. Meanwhile, a special press conference was convened yesterday at the Presidential Media Centre by the Ministry of Transport and the National Council on Road Safety. The purpose of this media briefing was to inform the public about the measures being taken to mitigate road accidents during the festive period.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Watch Live is brought to you by
CIB Navy offer valuable gifts and gift vouchers, 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
In Watchlight this afternoon, the Minister of Education has announced the time frame for the end of the first phase and the commencement of the second phase of the first academic term of Sinhala and Tamil government schools for the year 2024. According to the Education Ministry, the first phase of the first academic term will conclude today. The second phase of the first academic term will commence on the 24th of this month. The Ministry added that the second phase of the first academic term for Muslim schools will commence on April 17th, Wednesday, 2024.
CIB Navy offer valuable gifts and gift vouchers, 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
Coming up, World News.
The headlines first. South Korea votes on new parliament. Biden says Netanyahu making a mistake in his handling of Gaza. Inquiry hears of foreign meddling in Canada elections. South Korea is voting for a new parliament in what is widely seen as a midterm referendum on President Yoon Suk-yeol's administration. Mr. Yoon still has 3 years left in office, but People's Power Party has struggled to achieve its agenda in a legislature dominated by the opposition Democratic Party. Polls are mixed, but analysts have suggested the opposition may retain their majority or even increase it. Yoon is under pressure to address a number of issues including rising food prices, a rapidly aging population and an ongoing doctor strike. If Mr. Yoon's party fails, he could leave office with little to show for his time other than his foreign policy achievements. His major success has been building up relations with Tokyo and Washington to counter China and North Korea. But that will have little bearing on his election. South Koreans will be voting in line with their wallets more than anything. US President Joe Biden has said he believes that Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is making a mistake in his handling of Gaza. I think what he is doing is a mistake. I don't agree with his approach, he said in an interview. He said Gaza should have total access to all food and medicine for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Last week, he warned ongoing U.S. support for the war depended on Israel allowing in more food and medicine. Israel has denied impending the entry of aid or its distribution inside Gaza, and has accused UN agencies on the ground of failing to get the aid that is allowed in the people who need it. Weeks of talks have failed to produce a ceasefire agreement, but international pressure is growing. A busload full of Chinese high school students closed into voting for a liberal candidate. An opaque cash injection of thousands of dollars from China, a proxy agent of India's government providing illegal financial support to pro-India politicians. These allegations and more surfaced during 2 weeks of testimony in Canada's ongoing public inquiry into foreign interference in its elections. The accusations made by Canada's spy agency in a series of redacted documents tabled before the inquiry are to be taken with caution, officials said. The Canadian Security Intelligence Service warned that the reports may include uncorroborated information that's single-sourced or incomplete and that has not been properly investigated. China and India have repeatedly denied any allegations or interference in Canada's affairs, with India recently calling them baseless allegations. But some politicians have said interference may have affected their political careers. Back to the headlines of the world news. South Korea votes for new parliament. Biden says Netanyahu making a mistake in his handling of Gaza, and inquiry hears of foreign meddling in Canada's elections. And that ends world news. On to development news. Cabinet spokesman and Mass Media Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that the Cabinet of Ministers has granted consent to the proposal by President Ranil Wickremesinghe to provide admission for local students for the medical degree program at the General Sir John Kutlawala Defence University. The minister was speaking at a weekly cabinet media briefing held yesterday at the Government Information Department. According to the government, the admission of local students for this medical program will be offered starting this year. The admission will be based on the students' SED score received at the GC Advanced Level Examination and other relevant qualifications, while it will be provided on a payment basis.
Moving on with sports news.
Sri Lanka's rising star Chamodi Praboda has helped Sri Lanka under-19 emerge victorious against England. The 14-year-old destroyed England's innings by taking 5 for 42. The feat was achieved in the ongoing under-19 Tri-Series cricket tournament. Meanwhile, holders Manchester City and Real Madrid shared 6 goals in a thriller to leave their Champions League quarter-final evenly poised after the first leg at the Bernabeu, and Pep Guardiola's side took the lead in the second minute when Bernardo Silva cleverly snuck a 25-yard kick around the wall past goalkeeper Andre Linan. 2 deflected strikes brought 14-time European Cup winners Madrid level. First, Eduardo Camavinga's long-range efforts hit Ruben Dias and spun into the far corner of Stefan Ortega's goal, before Rodrigo got in behind the City defence and poked home via Manuel Akanji's heel. City were dominant in possession throughout under the closed roofs of Bernabeu, but lacked quality in their final third until Phil Foden stepped up, and that came to in sports news.
Go ekak kiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Foreign Office consultations between Sri Lanka and Kazakhstan are scheduled to be held tomorrow in Astana. The Sri Lanka delegation will be led by Foreign Secretary Aruni Vijayawardena. Following the meeting between President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Kazakhstan President, last year a discussion was taken to open a resident Sri Lanka embassy in Kazakhstan. Discussions in Kazakhstan are expected to focus on trade, investment, tourism and modalities for opening the new Sri Lanka mission. On the sidelines of the Foreign Office consultations, meetings are also scheduled to take place with the Conference of Interaction and Confidence Building Measures in Asia Secretariat in Astana. Sri Lanka is a member of the CICA.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak kiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
In economic news, data from the central bank show that Sri Lanka's workers' remittances through official channels grew 0.72% to $572.4 million from $468.3 million. Remittances were up from $476.2 million in February 2024. Monetary stability was restored in the last quarter of 2022, improving the credibility of exchange rate. Monthly remittances have been above $475 million from May 2023.
Weather report.
Rainy condition is expected to temporarily enhance over the island from tomorrow. Several special showers will occur in the eastern province and in the Hambantota district. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Galle and Matara district after 2 p.m. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the western, central Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Galle and Matara district during the morning. Before we conclude this news broadcast, the headlines again. The President says people in the country will be empowered by providing them with the rights of education, land, housing and businesses. Another 182,140 families have been selected for the Aswasuma Social Welfare Program. Special transport arrangements have been made for the people who travel for their native villages for the upcoming festive season. The government urges public caution to reduce road accidents and firework incidents during the New Year season. All postal workers have agreed to work on next Friday to handle the significant volume of goods received by the Central Postal Exchange. And foreign news, South Korea votes for new parliament. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Time moving on to 1:32, and you're with Radio Sri Lanka.